Getting your business to rank online on the search engines used to be a grind. Hiring SEO experts, writing tons of content, spending months and months to maybe see results. But now AI is flipping this all on its head. In this video, I'm going to show you how you can use tools like Cursor and MCP to build out a full-on SEO strategy that you can use to not only position your business to show up on Google, but also across large language models like ChatGPT and Gemini. There's a term that's come about that's similar to SEO, but it's called GEO, Generative Engine Optimization. And if you're trying to get found in this AI era, then being able to fire on all cylinders is going to be extremely important. So if that sounds good to you, then go ahead and turn on your notifications, hit the subscribe button, and let's get right into it. So you may or may not already be familiar with these AI co-pilots like Cursor. Cursor is typically seen and used as a coding environment that you would use for building different applications, web apps, mobile apps, micro tools, and it is exceptional at these kinds of functions. However, an area that Cursor is very underutilized is when it comes to marketing and data analysis, and actually being sort of at the intersection of these other kinds of functions with the coding. And so you can create and execute on plans for programmatic SEO, or you can analyze and then visualize data that you are mining or looking to make sense of using a platform like Cursor that most people aren't really thinking about right now. And so for me, it was after I was helping a client to make sense of some data that we had captured from an email campaign, and using Cursor, I was able to save about 5 to 6 hours of time I was spending manually going through spreadsheets to organize and structure that data. That it made me start thinking about, like, what other ways can Cursor be used besides the usual coding route. When you combine Cursor with these MCP servers that exist, and to just touch upon MCP, if you check out a previous video that I did, you can get a more full understanding of MCP and what exactly it is. But basically, MCP are like plugins for AI. If you think about APIs, which many people who, especially if you're in this space, have become very familiar with, APIs that let you connect software with each other or leverage the code or functionality of one software for another software or for an application that you're building. With MCPs, it's that concept, but tied to AI models. So you can use a platform like Claude, or in our case, we're going to use Cursor today, and the AI model that you are using in Cursor. So let's say you're using Gemini or you're using Claude within Cursor. So in this case, that's going to be the client. It can connect to this network, which is called Model Context Protocol. It was developed by Anthropic, who are the owners of Claude. And this network has a slew of different software and tech partners, if you will, that are attached to it. So for example, Airtable has an MCP server, Make.com has an MCP server, Google Calendar has an MCP server, Supabase. And so you can connect to these different platforms directly through your AI model. And so if I wanted to update my CRM, I could do so through Cursor by simply writing a prompt into Cursor to add a particular client or customer, or to update a particular file in my Airtable CRM, and it'll happen through this connection. And so MCPs, you can kind of look at it as the evolution of what we've experienced with automation, with your Make.coms and N8Ns. But even those platforms have their own MCP servers. And so it's creating a lot of flexibility and new opportunities in this AI space. So in this example, what I want to show and use is how you can install the Firecrawl MCP server. Firecrawl is used for scraping information online. How you can use the Perplexity MCP server. Perplexity is used for search. And then the DataForSEO MCP server in order to create and then afterward decide to execute on a plan to help your business rank online. Firecrawl can be used to scrape your website. It can be used to scrape other sites. And so in this use case, we can scrape our business website, have all that information pulled directly into Cursor, and then use Perplexity in order to do keyword research on the topics and the services or products that are listed on our site. And then we can use data for SEO in order to understand the different keyword volume, the competitiveness of the keywords to rank for them, and put it all together in order to come up with a game plan. And so the first step in all of this is actually going ahead and installing these MCP servers to Cursor. These MCP servers can be installed in right now Cursor and Claude. ChatGPT is now starting to add them as well. I've been liking Cursor a lot for the MCP servers. So we're going to start by installing the MCP servers, and I'm going to actually delete what I currently have and then just redo it for the sake of this tutorial. And then we can go through the process of what it looks like in order to actually come up with a plan to get your business to rank. So if I come into Cursor right here, I've already pulled up a new project. So if you don't already have Cursor, you'll need to download that to your computer. So I pulled up a new project. I called it SEO GEO. And then we're going to be looking at 3 MCP servers: Firecrawl, Perplexity, and DataForSEO. And so we're going to start with DataForSEO. So DataForSEO, its MCP takes the longest to install, and I'll explain why. But just to also talk a little bit about DataForSEO, this is a powerful tool. And that's because if you're familiar with SEO or have created plans for SEO or worked with an agency in the past, then you'll know, number one, how expensive it can be to use platforms like Ahrefs, for example, or SEMrush. These can cost an arm and a leg in order to understand keyword volume and competitiveness. They're really exceptional solutions, but with DataForSEO, you can go about your process of keyword research and ranking very quickly, but also do it usage based. So you can leverage these APIs and MCP servers in order to create your own system, or even to like build your own products for this kind of use case. And so for the DataForSEO example, we're going to just log right in, and then I'm going to type in DataForSEO MCP. All right, so we're on this page right now. This is the repo for the DataForSEO MCP. And what you're going to do is you're going to copy the URL for this. And first of all, I'm actually going to go ahead and delete what I currently did previously so that we can do this all together. Okay, so the first step you're going to take is you're going to clone the repository for that DataForSEO MCP. So you're going to copy and paste the URL for that GitHub repo. You're going to come in to your project. You can either clone before you even open up a project, or you can just say clone this repo for me and then paste the link and then allow it to go ahead and clone the repo. Run that. Cool. So now you can see here are all the files for the DataForSEO MCP, and then there are a number of steps you're going to have to go through. All right, so first of all, you're going to go to the bottom left of Cursor, open up the terminal. So you can click here where it says no problems. You can then open up the terminal, and then you're going to type in or paste in CD, which will get you to the file, the actual folder for this MCP server TypeScript project. CD space MCP server TypeScript, and you're gonna click enter. That'll take you to the folder. Then you're going to paste in npm install space -g space DataForSEO MCP server. So this will install the server globally in your Cursor, so that regardless of the project that you're on, you'll always be able to open it up. And you're going to click enter. And while that's installing, we can go back to the DataForMCP, our dashboard, and if you go to API access, you have a login here, and you also get a password. So you're going to click send by email to retrieve your password, and then you're going to need to create a dot file within Cursor that'll create a .env file, so you'll be able to access that DataForSEO and what they can offer. So you're going to type in, help me create an .env file. Here is my username. My username is my email and password. So obviously won't show you my password, but you kind of get the point. All right. So once you have the env, you have the repo cloned, you have the MCP installed, what you're going to do next is you're going to go back to that terminal, paste in npm run build. Actually, in order to make this work, you actually have to download a package called Node.js, nodejs.org/ en and click on getnode.js, and you're going to download that to your computer. So I'm going to click on Mac OS installer. Then you're going to go ahead and just install that Node.js onto your computer. They have it for Mac and they have it for PC. So, okay, so if you copy and paste the sample here, fill in this sample with my actual credentials, place it in the mcp.json file. All right, so you have to create an mcp.json file for this. My password's included in it, so I don't want to actually show it, but all you do is I'm going to put the script in the description, so you can find it in the description now. You're going to copy and paste that script and just ask it to put in your credentials, replace the sample with your credentials, and then create an mcp.json file for it. And then you're going to just run that. And then it should work after that. npm run build again. All right, so this time, now it is coming up. I see this blue sign here. From here, and it's interesting because it's saying restart Claude, because this was actually built for Claude, but I wanted to run it in Cursor because I'm going to combine it with the other MCP servers within Cursor. So if you just exit out and then exit back in for it to load. All right, so I exited out and came back in, and then if you look in Cursor settings, and then go down to tools and integrations. All right, it's right here, data for SEO, 58 tools enabled. So we have the data for SEO MCP now installed, and we can go ahead and begin using it. And you see here, it shows some of the things that it can do, like get real-time search results from Google, keyword data, API for research keyword, access the algorithms for SEO, backlinks API to analyze backlinks. Like, you could do a lot of stuff with it. And we are using this for Cursor. All right, so that was the harder one to do. The next two, which is going to be Firecrawl and Perplexity. What we're going to do is we're going to go to Composio.dev. So now Composio is a site where they host a lot of different MCPs. And so if you go to Composio.dev, click on MCP, get started, sign in, create an account if you haven't already. And then you're going to go down to Firecrawl, create server. It's called I'm just going to call this Firecrawl 3. Next. And then you can select what actions, what tools you want that MCP to have. Just as I mentioned, Firecrawl is going to be for scraping. I'm actually just going to go ahead and choose all the actions, create the server, and then copy. Go into Cursor, go into the terminal, paste what you copied into the terminal, that npx command into the terminal, and then that now puts the MCP into here for you. And it looks like you didn't even have to restart, like it automatically just got enabled. And then same thing with Perplexity AI, MCP create server. I'm also going to call this Perplexity AI 3. And this is going to be for search, for our keyword research, create server, copy this command, go into Cursor, paste it, same thing here. And then we have these Perplexity tools that are enabled. And then before you, just to mention, create that server, because I had already done it here, at the top, you're going to see a connect account at the top right. The way you see it for the SERP API here, or the Tablet API where it says connect account, you'll see that at the top right for Firecrawl. And that is what will let you connect your actual Firecrawl account to this. And as a result, you'll then be able to connect it to Firecrawl API key so that you are able to actually use it. So now we have everything connected. So if we come back here, and I'm going to create a new project. Let's just go SEO GO plan example. Open that up. And now if you go to the Cursor settings and you look at that tools integration, you'll see all 3 MCP servers here. So now I'm going to switch back to the regular Claude without the max mode, because that is usage based. So now I've already done a plan for my actual website and my automation agency. But in this example, what I'm going to do it for, so I live in Philadelphia, and I run a content house here called Pentridge Manor. People come, they shoot photos, they shoot videos, music videos, and I'm going to show what it looks like to create a plan to help Pentridge Manor rank for particular keywords around content, house, studio, podcast studio, those kinds of terms. And so what I'll actually do is I'm going to type in here, I'm going to paste it in, and I'll put these examples for you to check out. You can check this out in the Pentridge Club, which is our AI community that we're building, and you'll be able to find this in there. More info on that in the description. I'm going to paste in, use the Firecrawl MCP to scrape pentridgemedia.com/content house. And then I'm also giving it the peer space listing for the content house, which is this right here. And then I'm saying create a .md. So it's going to be like a markdown file, which is formatting of writing that the large language models are able to interpret very well. with a complete summary. So we're going to enter that in, and then you'll see it trigger the MCP server. So you'll see it go through the process here of thinking about which server to use and which tools to use. So it's using a Firecrawl scrape extract data. So it's going to run that tool, and then it might go a couple of different times. So it ran the Pinterest Media Content House link, and then it's running the Peerspace link, it scraped it, and it's going to create a summary from both sides. That's then going to be able to take that information, and you'll see here, it's going to give you a summary of the sites and what the services are, and so on and so forth. All right, so created this scraped content summary page right here. Pinterest Manor content creation space. Pinterest Manor is a modern, vibrant content creation house in King Sessing area of West Philadelphia. Shows the business information, square footage, a lot of information about the space, host information, testimonials, and other things about it, and gives it an overall summary. And so you see here, Cursor is now giving you this information that you can then now go ahead and do something with, and we will come back to this. But the next step now is we're going to move on to the Perplexity API to do keyword research using this information that we just scraped. So we're going to paste in this right here and say, now use the Perplexity MCP to find relevant programmatic keywords, keyword ideas for my business. So now I was going to go ahead and use the Perplexity MCP. So now we've connected to Firecrawl through Cursor. Now we're connecting to Perplexity through Cursor. And it's end to end within just this Copilot right here. It was going to run that tool saying here, I can see your business is focused on content creation, video production, and creative spaces. Let me check if there's an active connection. Perfect. It has an active connection, and I was going to search for programmatic keyword ideas. And so with programmatic SEO, basically you're able to create different pages and landing pages and tools and sites, content in mass by basically programming it for this to happen. And it allows you to get a lot of optimization done for search, and in this case for the LLMs as well, in a much shorter period of time. You used to have to spend thousands and thousands of dollars, and it was a whole process in order to actually make this transpire. So it was able to identify the right tool. Now it's getting additional keywords to complement the search. And just to give some more context, so like I've spent a lot of time in the last year and a half learning about SEO and how to do SEO. And this was prior to a lot of these tools coming out and MCPs and everything. And when I tell you the amount of time it was taking to put together these keywords and these, they're called keyword clusters, and really do this research that now Perplexity here tied to this MCP server connected to Cursor can do in literally minutes, and better than I, would have been able to do it myself, honestly. So now it's doing this keyword research, and it's going to create a file that you can then go into and take a look at and assess. All right, so I created a file, programmatic keyword strategy file. This keyword strategy is designed for Pinterest Media's content creation house in Philadelphia, targeting entrepreneurs, content creators, service businesses. So it shows you different keywords and what people are searching for. Content creation studio near me, content creation studio, Philadelphia studio rentals, cheap studios for rent in Philadelphia, studio apartments in Philadelphia under 800. And then it will show you high intent commercial keywords, AI powered studio rents in Philadelphia, professional photo video shoot studio in Philadelphia. Major competitors in Philadelphia market has here, like Peerspace itself as a competitor, Gigster, MNYK Studios, competitive keyword opportunities, Gigster alternatives, Peerspace, educate. And so then it now goes into the different kinds of keywords, content marketing keywords, educational and informational, how to grow your brand with professional studio rentals in Philadelphia, AI tools for video production in Philadelphia, guide to renting a content house in Philadelphia, now business growth, keyword phrases, seasonal keywords. And so it gives you such rich information that you can then go and create blog posts, article posts, tools, landing pages to attract people to your own site. I have my content house listed on Peerspace itself, but I also have it listed on my personal website, and you can have it so that traffic gets directed to your site, for example, or you can keep it on Peerspace, but just have traffic that you're then able to decide what you want to do with. You can direct it to Peerspace, you can keep it on your page. Landing page clusters, Philadelphia studio rental, King Sessing studio, content studio. And then it gives you a plan here. Optimize existing pages for primary keywords, create location specific landing pages, create service specific pages. And then it shows you the actual metrics, target 150% increase in 6 months, top 3 positions for top 10 primary keywords, top 3 for Philadelphia studio rental. All right, so now there's one more thing we got to do before we actually move forward. And you see here, gave you kind of like a highlight, summary, rundown. The next thing we're going to post is now with the data for SEO, MCP. So it gave you actually a lot of information through Perplexity as far as the keyword volume and competitiveness. But data for SEO is going to give you an even more granular sense of what the data is looking like. So I type in, okay, now use the data for SEO MCP to research our keywords and give me an idea of the potential search volume of our approach. So now it's going to use the tools that it has access to do comprehensive analysis for search volume for a content creator business, search volume, keyword difficulty, and then market insights using what it has, the tools that it has access to. All right, so now that's done. And you see here, search volume analysis for content creation business. Based on the data for SEO search, your content creator business has significant search volume potential with 3,000 plus monthly searches across primary keywords. And it shows you, these different keywords here. Total monthly search volume, 3970 plus, high intent commercial keywords, local Philadelphia market, content creation focus. It'll show you like levels of competition for what you should be going for. So low competition, 60% of the keywords, which means that those are potential phrases that you can match for or you can rank for. And then I actually show you the revenue opportunity. Monthly organic clicks, 79 clicks, monthly leads, bookings, revenue, optimistic estimates, and then yearly revenue potential, 3 to 16,000. And it'll show you sort of like a game plan, strategic recommendation. Go for Philadelphia studio rental first, photo studio rental, video production company Philadelphia. We're talking to you about creating landing pages, implementing local SEO for the Philadelphia market, and so on. So now the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to say, now using all the information and data you've aggregated in, I'm going to tag each of the files, create a comprehensive and actionable plan to rank the Pentridge Manor content house and drive traffic to increase bookings over the next 12 months. So now it'll go through those 3 files that we have within here. And so with this, you're not going from platform to platform. You didn't have to go to Perplexity and copy this from Perplexity and paste it there in Firecrawl or paste it there to another side, and then everything is all in one, and you're able to just tag these files to get this work done. So you can see how Cursor is serving as more than just a co-pilot for coding, right? This is for marketing and data analysis in this way. All right, so creative strategy here. Our strategic overview, growth strategy for Pentridge Manor Content House. Month 1, establish digital presence, create a professional website. We already do have a website, so some of these things, like I said, will be contingent on what is already done. But Google My Business optimization, local SEO setup, create 5 landing pages, content hub, launch, ultimate guide to Philadelphia studio rental, top 10 content creation tips for entrepreneurs, Philadelphia versus NYC studio rental comparison. Month 1 targets, 15% increase in organic traffic, 3 new bookings for SEO, page 1 ranking for 2 keywords, launch weekly blog series, long form content creation. Month 3, local market domination, neighborhood specific pages, partnership development, collaborate with 10 local photographers, partner with 5 Philadelphia marketing agencies, join Philadelphia Chamber of Commerce, review generation campaign. Month 3 targets, service expansion and upselling, equipment upgrades, competitive advantage, leverage, my automation agency, Pinterest Media, premium. This gives you such rich and comprehensive information, and it takes you all the way through like 2 years, literally, with expectation of 300% increase in booking. So I've done a lot with SEO previously, and the amount of time to even get a fraction of this information and for it to be as comprehensive as this was just not even possible. So here is the full plan that it created. It used Firecrawl to get this first sheet, summary of your site, Perplexity to do programmatic keyword research, and then data for SEO to analyze those keywords and then put together a whole plan. As you can see, Cursor can be leveraged in such extraordinary ways, and it's something that people aren't doing. It's mostly used again for coding right now. I'm a huge vibe coder or AI coder, however you want to communicate it, but I'm now starting to use Cursor a lot more for these other avenues like marketing and data analysis, and I'm loving it. So Let me know what you think. Let me know how you plan to use it. This is something that could be used for your businesses and for driving traffic to whatever you have, going on, whatever projects and so on and so forth. And then from here, as far as the plan itself, where it's talking about creating different landing pages and content and tools and so on, you can actually then just go ahead, and if it's a tool that you need to create or a landing page that you need to create, you can literally create it in here and have Cursor make another file for you, and then actually spin up the landing page all within this project where it's connected, and make updates and modifications. So the game has changed, and this is what it looks like to collaborate with AI. What it looks like, as far as I'm concerned, to hire an AI. And so let me know what you guys think. This is a video on how you can go about ranking your business, both for search and on the large language models, and how to leverage platforms like Cursor and MCP servers for marketing and data analysis.